Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me too. I'm very grateful for the invitation to this very special event tonight. This is indeed a very special occasion which will promote Arabic music at the beginning of the 21st century. The oud is one of the oldest instruments of the Arabic world and is often referred to as the most prominent one. Its history goes back nearly 2000 years, and although the Arabic music is normally more oriented on vocal music, the oud was and is the incarnation of the early Arabic music and is still used in many Islamic countries. The idea of a wooden body with strings attached was very soon copied in other parts of the world, especially in Europe and Asia, as you see on the next pictures of my slideshow. This is an Italian double-stringed sitar, for example, or the psalterium of the Middle Ages, the Russian balalaika, or, a funny picture, a fish-like body of the Portuguese rajajo, to give only a few examples. The Arabic music theorists of the 10th century and earlier used to explain the nature of sound and the special rules of the tone system on this very instrument. There are many pictures showing the use of oud in history and present. Here, the picture of an oud maker in Cairo, whose name is Mahmoud Kamil. The instrument he's playing shows guitar-like so-called frets on the neck of the instrument, which is only seldom used on ouds. Another picture from a music theory book of around 1400 shows an oud with 5 double strings. The strings carry the names of the tuning pitches. The next picture shows the oud player and singer Nezihe Köksal from the Black Sea. She performed mainly at the women's part of weddings, and she used to play dancing songs. Finally, I picked a famous picture of a book on celebrations of the year 1582, Suriname of Murad III. As you see, there are different forms of string instruments as well as percussion instruments. In the center of the picture, you will see the oud player sitting amidst the harp player and the bowed string player. Normally, the oud has 4 to 6, sometimes 7 strings, and it depends on the country how many strings are used and in which type of temperature the strings are tuned. But nearly all of these oud types have 4 strings which are tuned in fourth. For non-musicians, in fourth means the interval or the distance of 4 notes. The essential number 4 will interest us, especially at the end of my presentation. As you might know, the word oud or alud means the wood, and of course this refers to the wooden corpus of the instrument. And this name of a wooden string of this very special type in the following centuries. The oud or alud is the root, or better the spring, the origin, the wellspring of the European laute or lute instruments. The word laute is in fact a kind of Europeanization of the word alud, and also the English word lute derives from the Arabic expression. Over the centuries, the lute and all kinds of regional diversions like the mandora, the teorbo, the vihuela, and even the modern guitar go back to this very original form. And, as a matter of fact, in Renaissance times and in the Baroque era, the lute had a similar tuning with fourths as the oud had, or has. In the pictures in the background, you see many examples of these different forms of the lute or lauter. These pictures contain primarily the symbol of quietness, harmony, companionship, and excellence. These qualities have not decreased over the centuries. They are still the same. I'm not exaggerating the historical truths when I conclude that the oud or alud is the quiet, harmonious, and excellent origin of nearly all string instruments. Are they plucked as the lute, or are they bowed like the violin instruments? These pictures are taken from a very famous French book on instruments by Marin Mersenne from 1635, where different kinds of lute forms are described, like the pandora or bandora. The name comes from the Arabic word tanbur or tunbur, or the sitar or zister, in other languages zistro, etc., or even a picture of an early guitar, or the long-necked collachon. But as you see on the last pictures of my presentation, but as you see on the last pictures of my presentation, taken from another famous German book of instruments by Michael Pretorius of the year 1619, many of them, lutes, or violins, or gambe, flutes, trombones and other, form a so-called family of 4 instruments in different size and temperature. Unfortunately, only the oud does not form a family. Why a family of 4 instruments of the same type? Probably there was a musical and or music theoretical urgency to give the sound more volume, more harmonic depths, and more space from the lowest to the highest range possible, appropriate to the range of sound the human ear is able to perceive. And, as the composer Robert Schumann used to say, 4 strings sound as a conversation of 4 intelligent persons talking about the same subject. It might also be that the number 4, which I mentioned before, had a certain influence on these groupings. Please remember the 4 different directions on the compass, south, east, west and north, or the 4 elements in ancient philosophy, fire, water, air and earth, the 4 seasons, the 4 wind directions, the 4 phases of the moon, the 4 temperaments. The 4 is also a symbol for the 4 most important virtues: wisdom, fairness, courage, and moderation. It is of great importance for the history of the Arabic music that Mofid Nehme worked about 6 years on his idea to form a similar group or family of 4 oud instruments, and it is the first time in history when such a oud family was presented. Thus, I kindly invite you to see the film about Mofid Nehme's Oud family presented the first time in Doha, Qatar. Thank you very much.